Michael, welcome. How's your first fight week as a UFC fighter? How's it been, the experience and everything?
Yeah, there's it's been amazing, man. Just getting to know the team. Team over here is just so organized, so on point, so welcoming, so hospitable, so helpful. It's good. It really does feel like I've just been signed to a new football team and just getting all the facilities. Everything is just done at top tier level, so professional. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm happy to be here.
Has that brought any extra nerves? I mean, you're such a veteran that you've been around for so long and have experienced so much, but it is something new, right?
Yeah, it's a new experience, but I embrace new experiences. I always say I love being a student and learning new things, and so that's how I feel. It just feels like I'm just experiencing new things. I'm just soaking it all in, and come Saturday, I get to release all that energy.
And you've talked about how being in the UFC was a dream of yours for quite some time. So I'm sure that you daydreamed a lot of one day transitioning and joining the UFC. When you who did you envision yourself fighting? Is Kevin Holland the guy that was on your radar and somebody you wanted to fight?
Nah, not really. As in, like, at that point, it was just a case of just being here. You know, when you're visualizing it, when you're visualizing being in the cage, it's more just me, the crowd, what I'm doing, my finishes and how my entrances and all that kind of stuff. The opponent doesn't mean anything because all I'm trying to do is manifest all the good points of it, and whoever get kicked in the face on the way, it doesn't matter.
And what are your goals joining this promotion? Is it the belt? Is it just having fun, super fights? What is your goal now that you're in the UFC?
I don't do things just to make up numbers. So we're here for the belt. I'm here to get the bling. So getting to the top is key, which is why I start with somebody or the likes of Kevin Holland. It needs to be that type of challenge. There's no point. I don't have time to be trying to build myself up, and I don't need to. And that was a conversation I had, with the UFC. They were, equally in agreement of that, and I think they've shown their intentions by giving me Kevin Holland first.
Lastly, what does the path to the title look like for you?
A big, entertaining knockout, and maybe another spectacular knockout, and then the belt.
Michael, Kevin's known as a bit of a showman, as are you. In a way, is this sort of the perfect starting platform for you, right? If you go in there and he talks a bit of shit to you and you can talk some shit back, get the knockout, that propels you in a way that, like, Michael Chandler got propelled by Dan Hooker. Are you sort of looking at this like that?
Yeah, I keep telling everybody I feel like we're going to have the first live in-cage podcast of me and him talking. But, it's such a great fight, I think, for so many different reasons. He loves to strike, I love to strike, his entertainment fact, he loves to talk, I love to kick people in the face. It just works.
He does like to strike, and we've seen him make some deals in the past about staying on the feet and cutting out the grappling. Do you kind of feel like he might make that deal with you, or no?
He is definitely not going to make that deal. I think he's had a taste of that style already. And I don't think he's going to want to use as many of his attributes as possible to make sure he wins this fight.
In a way, though, if he does do that to you and you get to stop that and still get the victory, that shows the UFC fans that, hey, like, I'm not just this flashy guy getting strikes. I can do MMA.
No, of course. And but the thing is, for me, I don't, and I've never cared to prove anything to anybody. I know what I do. I have to do it in training every single day. And the fact that people think I go to an MMA gym and only train kickboxing is wild to me, considering I'm doing MMA. I'm where I'm so superior in my striking, it does feel like, everything else is miles behind, but it's slowly catching up.
Last one from me. For the people who might not know, how big would you versus Leon Edwards, English versus English, be for the world title?
Stadium type big. This is what I mean, and it's just so good for the UK. It's so good for inspiring more talented fighters in future coming from that side of the world. I'm just going to keep manifesting. I'm going to keep putting it out there, and we're going to make it happen.
Right here, next to you. Kind of going off of that, I know a lot of people want to see you in the UFC before, but given the state of UK MMA now with Tom and Patty and Molly and now you and Leon, is now the perfect time to kind of join the UFC, considering like that part of the world is seemingly never been better?
Yeah, 100%. And this is why I say I think things just happen for a reason. I'm a big believer, and everything happens for a reason. And everyone's like, oh, I felt like you should have been here years before and this and that. No. It happens for a reason. And as you say, look at the state of the UK MMA now. It's just a perfect time to add an explosive, exciting, very good-looking guy.
I know you had a few things to say about the UFC gloves, but have you had a chance to actually get into the octagon? Because in Bellator, there's not a lot of corners. You can't really corner a guy in there in the circle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've actually been in the cage. The cage is fine. The canvas is unbelievable. It's amazing. It's perfect for my style. It's got so much grip and traction for me to be able to move. Yeah, it's just going to make me that much more dangerous.
Do you think the Bellator cage limited you in that, in terms of grip and the lack of corners and the circling and everything?
You know what it is? For me, it was slightly inconsistent, because there'll be certain times that they spray it to clean it, and it would leave a slight film on top. And for someone of my style, having any kind of slippery surface is just difficult, But this one, you can tell just the quality and how consistent it's going to be, regardless of they can put whatever on, and it's got grip. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to performing in this cage.
Speaking of Kevin, did you know he's, I think, a second-degree black belt in Kung Fu?
Yeah, in Kung Fu.
Yeah. When they introduce him, he goes, Bruce Buffer goes, he's a Kung Fu fighter fighting out of so-and-so.
He's a Kung Fu fighter. So here's my understanding, because I started in Lao Gar Kung Fu.
Yeah.
We have sashes, not belts.
I don't think it's second degree something.
Oh, okay. Because if he said that, then he's lying to you.
This is someone else saying.
Okay.
He does have a background in Kung Fu.
Okay, no, that's cool, man. It's good to see two Kung Fu, opponents kind of collide. It reminds me of, I don't know if you've seen this film, Twin Warriors, or it's called Tai Chi Masters, depending on what side of the world you get it. One of my favorites, a Jet Li movie, unbelievable. So yeah, we're two Twin Warriors.
And then last one for me, can I get your thoughts on the main event between Sean and Cheeto?
Man, it's a great fight, great storyline to it as well. Because obviously the first one is a bit controversial in terms of how it ended, but for me, O'Malley's just he's got something special that he just keeps, and he seems to be getting better and better and better. Obviously similar to myself, his timing and stuff, but also seeing his jiu-jitsu ability and stuff as well. Yeah, for me, I'd put my money on Sean O'Malley, but it's definitely a difficult fight.
Michael, right here to your right. When we first learned about this fight, it actually popped up, I think, on the War Room in one of Dana White's videos, and it had a Toronto date in January. Was that ever a date that was offered to you, or was it always March?
Yeah, it was never a thing. It was weird. I'm sure it was the Nelk Boys or something that it was in their route. I don't know, but even when I went back to see that clip, I don't know how somebody even managed to pause it on that. I was trying so hard to see that. That was on there for less than 0.5 of a second. Like, how did people spend time? Yeah, so I don't know how they even found that, but yeah, it was never really a thing. I think they were just kind of putting, super matchups on the board, and somebody happened to see it.
Internet's a wonderful place. Obviously, you've been in some big fights, Grand Prix, fought for a title. We hear about octagon jitters and the nerves. Are there any nerves this fight week so far, or is this just old hat to you at this point?
Yeah, I've done it too many times now. I always have. I don't like to call it nerves. There's always that kind of like pre-fight feeling. My pre-fight, and this happens in the gym as well. Like my coach, it happens every single time. My coach is like, "Okay, guys, glove up or pad up." I have to run to the toilet. I don't know what it is, but it's like it's just my body screaming at me like, "Yeah, we're about to go to war," And again, I don't like to call it nervous. I call it excitement. So yeah, I got some excitement, and that usually helps me.
Last one from me. I mean, obviously coming over from Bellator, what is the main difference you've noticed between the promotions so far?
Organization, structure, people on the floor, just professionalism. It definitely feels like I've stepped up a league, and we're not talking in terms of opponent here or caliber of fighter, because for me, mixed martial arts is a sport, and I've fought so many guys in the UFC and so many guys outside the UFC, and the standard is the same. It depends on the practitioner. It's more about what's happening out there. The guys are so on it, so helpful. Seriously, that's for me is the key thing. Even just having to make weight and these guys sorting out your foods and your nutrition, and just it's just so helpful. And I'm so used to having to organize all that kind of stuff myself. Not having to think about that kind of thing, it really does play a massive part in your experience coming into a fight.
Michael, right here. I think one of the unique things about you, covering you through your Bellator years, was you were always you would always mention how one day you would go to the UFC. Like, you didn't hide that. You didn't give politically correct answers. I guess, why did you manifest that so early on? And I guess, why did you see yourself, no matter what happened, ending up here?
It was, I guess, for me, is because it was my intention at the start. So it wasn't something that I've ever lost sight of. I was a typical fan before, so I only knew UFC. You know, I was probably the guy that would probably ask you the question, "Do you do UFC?" You know, at the time. So going into mixed martial arts was me wanting to go to UFC, to the point where I was considering moving to America, because at the time I was like, well, the only way I'd be able to be good or even learn mixed martial arts is that I'd have to move to the States. You know, this is just me being clueless, that not knowing that there's mixed martial arts everywhere. Until I came across my gym, London Shoot Fighters, and then, just fell in love with the team there, the guys, the coaches there, and then kind of started my journey from there. But I think I've just never lost sight of wanting to eventually come here at some point, just because it was my original goal. So I think that's why I just want to manifest what got me started in the first place.
Michael, over here. Obviously, you mentioned that this is a dream come true for you. So how and when did those conversations start with the promotion, and when did you really have it sink in that, hey, I'm about to go make my UFC debut?
So interestingly enough, actually, I think their first reach out, which was kind of a mistake on their part, because it kind of showed their interest. Basically, when I did my bare knuckle fight and I announced that I'm doing my bare knuckle fight, people started reaching out like, oh, does that mean he's a free agent? And obviously the UFC reached out like, is he a free agent? And we're like, oh, so somebody's interested, huh? So obviously that was them initially, and it was like, oh, no, still with Bellator, got X amount of fight, but I've got this amount of time left, and then we can speak thereafter. And then the conversation just remained open, if you know what I mean. So, so we kind of started from there, and then it's weird. It was a bit of a longer process in the beginning, and then it just sped up right towards the end, to the point where we even just the announcement of the fight, we hadn't even confirmed everything. I want to say that three days before. So it's been a crazy ride, a roller coaster ride.
Hi, Michael. Greetings for Ecuador. Do you think winning this fight will put you in the ranking a possible title career?
Sorry, say the last bit again.
Do you think winning this fight will put you in the ranking and a possible title career match?
Okay. Oh, yeah, 100%. I think the reason, like I said, the reason why I've even got a fighter of this standard, at this level, is because of their intentions is aligned with mine of wanting me to be at the top. I think, I always say, I think the added value that I think I bring is that I'm very capable of marketing myself without anybody. I'm very good at marketing. I'm very aware of how to utilize certain spaces to help market myself. And I think they understand me with a title and my brain and how to market as well. It's great for everybody, all parties involved. So yeah, definitely, this win will put me up there.
How you doing? You all right?
Good.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on Ian Gary, because in the last media day, he gave a prediction to the fight and basically said you got no chance against Kevin Holland. So I just wanted...
Yeah, I think everyone's entitled to their opinions. I never like to need to crush anybody for their opinion. He's allowed to share his thoughts because he's doing it at the top level now. I also think that's a little bit of worry, I think that's a little bit of, I hope he gets crushed, because it means then I'm not in line for anything. Because, you know, me winning means I'm potentially in line to have to do it. And now I can't be like, oh, no, there's other reasons why I can't fight him. So you're going to find a lot of people wishing for my downfall that are in the division simply because they don't want to cross me. And they know what that's going to mean. So, yeah, that's how I see it. I don't need to tear him down for anything. You're happy for your opinion, happy to take it on board, and happy to throw it back in your face when I knock him out.